Chapter 110 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. When it was time for Gu Fuzhao to be buried, the coffin was transported on a giant ornate open carriage. It was escorted by Shi Pei, Wu Zhan, and the others all the way to the imperial mausoleum, where it was buried by the entrance, implying that in his eternal rest he would be in the company of kings. Afterwards, Lin Qingyu personally sent the memorial tablet he had made for Gu Fuzhao 2 years ago to the imperial ancestral temple to forever enjoy the incense of future generations. On this day, all officials of fifth rank and above came to the palace to see Gu Fuzhao off on his final journey. After attending the ceremony at the imperial ancestral temple, Shi Pei, Wu Gaogong, Wu Zhan, and Shen Haoxi left the palace together. Gu Fuzhao had been closest to them during his lifetime, and now, reunited at Gu Fuzhao's funeral, their conversation naturally turned to the general's last wishes. The general wants Master Lin to remarry. Wu Zhan was taken aback. Shen Songdi, are you sure you heard it right? Shen Haoxi wasn't good at lying. In order to be able to deliver this lie well, he had practiced a lot in private. But when it really came time to deceive them, his expression was still a little stiff. I'm sure. Fortunately, Shi Pei believed him unquestionably. The general loved Master Lin deeply. I am not at all surprised that he would say such a thing. Shen Haoxi nodded seriously. That is true. Wu Zhan couldn't understand. If I die, I hope my wife would remain a widow for me for the rest of her life. Thinking of some other man holding her after I die and my son calling that man father, I think I would be so enraged. I might just come back to life. Shi Pei sighed. The general is not you. Master Lin is cold and aloof, unwilling to socialize with others. He doesn't even have a friend who he can drink with at the same table. The general was afraid that after his passing, there would be no one to accompany Master Lin, that he would be lonely as he aged. Shen Haoxi quickly chimed in. The general also said that if Master Lin really does grow old alone, he wouldn't be able to close his eyes even in death. Wu Gaogong said, voice rough and shaky. Well, this is easy enough to handle. My old lady loved playing matchmaker. I will ask her to find out if there is any suitable matches in the capital for Master Lin. By the way, would you know if Master Lin is looking to take in a husband or a wife this time? Shi Pei smiled wryly. It's too early for His Excellency to be discussing this. The general's body has yet to grow cold, and you are already trying to find a match for Master Lin. If this gets out, what will others think of Master Lin? At least wait for Master Lin to finish his year of marital piety. After news of Gu Fuzhao's death reached the capital, rumors about Lin Qingyu's inauspiciousness, about his bringing of misfortune upon his husbands, once again raised a tremendous clamor. Lin Qingyu had been married off to Lu Wancheng as a part of Chongxi, and although Lu Wancheng lived an extra year, the Lu family was almost ruined. Later, he remarried Gu Fuzhao, and in just 2 years, the ever-victorious general was strangled by his inauspiciousness to the point of death. Lin Qingyu had a cold demeanor, but his appearance is bright and charming. Even if such a beauty did nothing, it was inevitable that he would attract countless rumors and gossips. Even more so that he had now outlived 2 husbands, but was of such great skill that he commanded power equal to that of a prime minister. Though they do be outrageous words, people had begun to whisper that he had brought disaster upon a family first, upon the army second, and will upon the country third. They were afraid that the Dayu would perish at the hands of this monster. It was just that, due to Linqing's power, no one dared to discuss it openly. Wu Gong wanted only to let Gu Fuzhou rest in peace and momentarily forgot about this matter. He slapped his head and said, "Look at this head of mine. I'm getting old." Shen Haoshi considered and then probed. This matter cannot be rushed, but His Excellency can use this year to find suitable candidates for Master Lin. Wu Zhan still disagreed and he said angrily, "Except for the general, I don't think anyone in this court is worthy of Master Lin." As they were talking, a voice sounded behind them. "Generals?" Wu Zhan turned around. "Oh, Master Li." Li Chan bowed to them one by one and said, "I did not mean to eavesdrop, but I overheard Shen Gongxi say that General Gu wanted Master Lin to remarry." "That's right." Wu Zhan scratched his head. "I don't know what he was thinking." There was a second of temptation in Li Chan's heart, and a vague, vain hope began to take shape. In the next second, he spurned his own despicableness and shamelessness. What General Wu said is absolutely true. Except for General Gu, no one is worthy of Master Lin. Shen Haoshi said hesitantly, "Actually, Your Excellencies, Wu Gaogang, General Shi, General Wu, Shen Gongxi, please wait." Shao Songxi was trotting over to them. He caught up to them and said, "Master Lin is requesting your presence in Dali Temple." Shi Pei asked, "Dali Temple? Why is Master Lin asking us to go there?" Shen Haoshi shook his head, expressing that he didn't know either. Wu Zhan said, "Oh, I know. It must be because of that." Li Chan couldn't help asking, "Do I not need to go?" Shao Songxi smiled and said, "There is no need. Master Lin only asked for these four." When the four arrived at Dali Temple, Lin Qingye was already waiting for them there. As I have said before, I shall give an explanation to the soldiers of the Northwest regarding the robbery of the provisions from Jingnan, Lin Qingye said. "Now that we have laid General Gu to rest, I think it is time that we settle this matter." They all turned to look at each other. Shi Pei asked, "Master Lin, do you mean to say that there was more to the matter of Shishya's robbery of our provisions that day?" Wu Zhan said, "At that time, we were afraid of affecting your morale, so we didn't tell you. It's like this." The four of them followed Lin Qingyu to a water prison. Waterboarding was one of the torture methods used in the Dayu. There is a reservoir on the upper floor of the water prison. Once it was operated, the prisoners would be submerged and driven to the very edge of drowning. When their limit is reached, they would yank them back so as to keep them barely alive. Done over and over, it was a life worse than death. Shirang's lower body was submerged in the water. His whole body was drenched. His long hair stuck to his pale and swollen face. Hearing the sound of footsteps, he opened his eyes a slit and looked at his visitor with difficulty. For a moment, he thought he was hallucinating. Lin Qingyu? Shi Pei was considered a scholar general with a warm and gentle temperament. But at this time, his eyes were like blades, wishing to shred Shirang into pieces. "It was you, a eunuch. You are the one who caused us to have no food so that we were forced to launch the attack. Because of you, General Gu was, Lin Qingye said. General Shi. But Lin Qingye stopped him too late. Shirang had already guessed and asked with great interest. So, is Gu Fuzhao dead or disabled? Wu Zhan roared angrily. You son of a bitch! How dare you speak General Gu's name? Shirang smiled, and a trace of his past androgynous beauty could still be vaguely seen on his face. I do dare. How does Master Lin want to punish me for it? Apart from castration and waterboarding, what else have I not suffered? Lin Qingye said. I heard from the minister of Dali Temple that you still refuse to admit your guilt. The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. I have nothing to say, Shirang said calmly. Only I never felt that I did anything wrong. Wu Gaogong was so furious that his beard bristled. You still won't admit to your crime even when death is at hand? Lin Qingye looked down upon the emperor, relying on the military power in the hand of his husband to hide the truth from the court and the people. He stirred up trouble and cast the emperor aside. What is wrong with me eradicating traitors for the emperor? Shi Pei said, voice shaking. Because you colluded with the Shishya, tens of thousands of soldiers died in Yongliang. You still think you did nothing wrong? It was like Shirang heard some great joke. You seem perfectly fine with Lin Qingye seeking power. I but did the same thing as him, so why am I wrong? If I had done something wrong, it's that I miscalculated. One careless move and the whole game was lost. Wu Zhan scathingly refuted. Retribution is paid out in kind. You son of a bitch, this is your retribution. Retribution? Ha! Shirang looked at Lin Qingye, his lips curled into a sneer. If there really is such a thing as retribution in this world there, why is Master Lin standing here safe and sound? The blood of Master Lin's hands may not be any less than those on mine. Shen Haoshi frowned. Utter garbage. Whether it is nonsense or not, Master Lin knows better than anyone else. Shirang showed a cruel smile. Lang Shi of the Nanan House mansion going mad, Lu Shaosong dying tragically, Lu Nian Tao banished to the cold palace, concubine Chen and the former crown prince Shao Cheng. Who of them hadn't fallen into your hands? Even these people standing beside you, just how sincere are you to them? The only reason you don't look down on them is because they are useful. Am I not right? Lin Qingye looked at him, his face devoid of any expression. Lin Qingye, you're cold, indifferent. You're selfish. You look only after yourself. Love desires life. Evil desires death. Do you think you are any better than me? We are birds of the same feather, you and I. If I am to suffer retribution, you can be sure you will get yours too. Look, Gu Fuzhao is now dead. The retribution you deserve is all dumped onto the people you love. Lu Wancheng, Gu Fuzhao. Who will it be next? Shen Haoshi looked at Lin Qingye. He saw that the other party's eyes were calm, as if he took no notice at all to Shirang's words. Wu Zhan spat. Death is too good for him. He should live in this water prison for the rest of his life, unable to live, unable to die. Lin Qingye said calmly, I will entrust this person's case to you gentlemen. There are other palace matters I must see, so I must now take my leave. Shen Haoshi said, Master Lin? Lin Qingye strode away from the dungeon as if he heard nothing, leaving the group looking at each other in blank dismay. Shirang closed his eyes slowly and said with a quiet chuckle, "This is what you're most afraid of. You too have a weakness. It's a pity." It's a pity that Lynching Yu's weakness was also the toughest thing in the world. Lynching Yu's weakness was one that would protect him and become his armor, while other people's weakness was nothing more than a burden that dragged them back. Lin Qingyu returned to the palace, had the evening meal with Jiang Shen, and then reviewed the reports as usual. He seemed to be in his same usual self. Jiang Shen could vaguely sense that his mood was not quite right. He asked him what was the matter, but Lin Qingyu said it was nothing. He told Jiang Shen to go to bed early and to not to distract him from his work. In the middle of the night, Jiang Shen woke up, wanting to get a drink of water. He was surprised to see a great beauty sitting by the bedside. He asked, dazed, "Qingyu?" "It's me." Lin Qingyu lifted up the quilt and took the initiative to get in his bed, slipping into Jiang Shen's arms. Jiang Shen was overwhelmed by this unexpected favor, but he still didn't forget to tease him. Is the pretty little widow unable to sleep, so he came to climb into Zhen's bed? Lin Qingyu didn't laugh. Instead, he said softly, "Jiang Shen, I knew there was something the matter, but you still wouldn't admit it." Jiang Shen pulled the quilt up to cover Lin Qingyu's shoulders. Fighting back his sleepiness, he said, "Tell me, Babai, who provoked you?" Lin Qingyu kept his eyes open. He asked, "Do you believe that retribution is paid out in kind?" Jiang Shen simply said, "No, and you shouldn't believe it either. But what if it really is? And because I have done all kinds of evil things, I made you suffer from the agony of poison and the pain of being pierced by thousands of arrows," Lin Qingyu said helplessly, his eyes revealing how completely lost he felt. "Although I despise the world, I love you. How could it be that I can't?"